Did you guys find anything?
Reporter Emily Cataneo is on a hunt.
What did you get?
I don't think they're edible.
Oh, wait, can I see it?
She's with a group combing through some woods in western North Carolina. Their prize? Anything edible coming out of the ground.
Anybody know what this is? Poison ivy. How'd you know?
It's not only good to have these skills, but it can be really empowering to have these skills. So many kids and so many people are so far away from where their food begins when they pick it up at a grocery store that learning about foraging can be really mind-blowing for them.
Like feeling empowered, like, I know what that is. Oh, wow, I can teach somebody else about it.
There were ones with gills, and then some mushroom had like sponge at the bottom.
One of my favorite things was fairy potatoes. I don't know if they're usually called that, but that's what we learned they were called.
You know, it's the thing about foraging. It's not just about survival, but it's also just tastes good and gives you things that you don't experience in the grocery store.
I'm Anissa Khalifa. This is The Broadside, where we tell stories from our home at the crossroads of the South. This week, finding a forest's hidden treasure and why folks are reviving their relationship with Mother Nature after a natural disaster.
At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.
Friend of the podcast, Emily Cataneo, is a fearless freelance journalist. She'll go just about anywhere for a good story.
I love quests. I love going to look for something, find something.
I've noticed.
Uncover something hidden in the world around you.
Case in point, last year, Emily joined me to talk about her hunt to find Bigfoot in the deep, dark woods of western North Carolina. Spoiler alert, no luck. But she recently revisited that part of the state on a different kind of woodland quest. This time around, she was drawn there by word of a group called No Taste Like Home that gives food tours in the wilderness. It's part of a growing foraging culture in the Blue Ridge Mountains. To Emily, it sounded right up her alley. But there was one more element that got her hooked. Many of these foragers were kids.
As an anxious person, an anxious dog mom, and now an anxious human mom, my first thought was, oh God, that sounds dangerous. Like foraging and children. So naturally, I wanted to learn more about it and see what it was actually all about.
Emily's experience with this group is the focus of a recent piece she wrote for The Guardian. I wanted to hear more about what she found out there and why people are doing this. But first, what exactly is foraging?
Basically, foraging is gathering wild food. So not buying food from the grocery store, not growing a carrot and harvesting it, but going out there to gather food that is found in nature.
And from what I understand, that area around Asheville in western North Carolina is actually a hotspot for gathering natural food.
Yeah. It's an incredibly diverse ecosystem. I've heard that it's one of the most diverse in the world. There is a very variable climate there. There are a lot of different microhabitats out there in the mountains. And there are a lot of different underlying types of rocks and sediment that allow different kinds of plants to flourish. So there's a lot of food that you can find out there in the Blue Ridge Mountains. So with that in mind, I was excited to go out and see it for myself.
Notice our leaves here are big, right? The other thing is, you notice kind of like a halo?
It was the end of October, one of those chilly fall days where your hands get really, really cold in the woods if you have poor circulation. But really beautiful time of year, too, with the leaves turning red and yellow. And we met up at eco community in Black Mountain, North Carolina, which is outside of Asheville, which is an intentional community where people live largely self-sufficiently and collaboratively and such. And to my surprise, we parked and we basically immediately started foraging.
Who has a bag for the beauty berries? You got a bag, great. You got a bag.
And our guide, Dimitri, said, okay, there's some stuff out here. Let's find it.
We'll do this for 20 minutes. At the end of the 20 minutes, I'm going to howl. Awoo! At the end of me howling, I want all of you to
And the goal was to gather enough so that we could try some at the end.
Layer is going to be the yippee. Yip, 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 yip. Now,
Hey guys, can you tell me what you're doing right now?
We are harvesting this
And what is
spice
this?
bush.
Spice bush.
Cool.
So the girls that I met, Gemma and Juniper, Juniper she kept telling me she's 11, but she's going to be 12 in November. So she's almost 12.
Very important.
Yes, indeed. And Gemma is 9, but they're very good friends.
And what is the spice bush for?
You can use it as tea
Spice
or
or
a spice.
tea.
You can chew on it.
I asked Gemma what she was eating at one point, which is wood sorrel, which is another leafy green.
I am collecting the soil. People are putting this in my bag, so
Nice. What do you think it tastes like?
it's like sour. In my personal opinion, I really like it, but that seems not to be the case with other people.
The thing about working with children is there's a sense that kids' minds are more malleable, right? Like they can more easily learn a foreign language, for example. So maybe kids are a little bit more flexible and able to think about food in a more expansive way.
I really like plants, and I just like being in nature.
One last question. What's your favorite thing that you found?
Baby chicken of the woods, because it was like squishy and fun.
I remember what it was like to be a girl that age and how exciting it was. And I think sometimes when you become an adult, you get distant from that ability to see detail and to see the importance of these small bits of texture of the world around you.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of surprising to hear from kids who are like out in the woods excited to eat vegetables. you know?
Exactly. Yeah. I think it's the thrill of the chase in a way. And that's something that Juniper's mom mentioned, that one of the reasons she wanted Juniper to participate in this program was so that Juniper would get excited about food that wasn't like, a processed snack from the grocery store,
Right.
which can be great too. But, you know.
I mean, yeah, it's hard to get kids to eat anything other than like chicken nuggets and pizza, right?
Absolutely.
Sending young folks out in the woods to find healthy alternatives to junk food sounds great. But kids are curious people. And when curiosity has free rein in the wild, things can get dicey, especially when you're dealing with potentially poisonous plants. Emily says the foraging group used to have an after-school program for kids, but things got a little too risky without enough supervision.
They were running into some issues with kids not necessarily paying as much attention as they needed to, which is super unsafe. I mean, kids are natural foragers.
They totally are. Yes.
Yeah. So it's
For
kind
things
of,
that are edible and not edible.
Indeed. Yes. And that's another reason why they want to teach kids, because it's actually like less safe if a kid doesn't know how to forage. They're going to do it anyway.
With an untrained eye, a kid is likely going to scoop up something that needs to stay in the ground. And there's arguably nothing more notorious out in nature than one sneaky fungus.
I always think about mushrooms when I think about danger.
Yeah.
And our guide, Dimitri, said that there are 5,000 species of mushrooms in the region. A couple hundred are edible, and 10 to 12 of them are really poisonous. And then he said a couple hundred more may make you wish that you were dead.
Oh, no.
So there are a lot of mushrooms. Not that many that will actually kill you, but you still have to be really careful. With foraging, you have to be as specific as possible.
Yeah, we are off on a 20-minute solo expedition to find mushrooms.
We also had instructions on the safety component of it. Nobody was allowed to eat anything until Dimitri looked at it and said, yes, that is the thing that we were looking for. That is the right thing.
On 3. 1, 2, 3.
And then we would all say 1, 2, 3 and eat things together. Nobody was allowed to just wander off and just like, oh, I think I found what I was looking for. Let me try it.
That's reassuring.
Yes, yeah.
Arugula.
Yeah, arugula.
Green. This is what green would taste like.
It seems like there's this really powerful idea of self-sufficiency, of, being able to in a way, be independent and go out and sort of be empowered to find your own food, but then also be in community with other folks while you're doing that. Kind of like a communal self-sufficiency. I guess there's like a little bit of a, it might seem contradictory, but like, how did you see that playing out?
Yeah. No, I think communal self-sufficiency is a good way to describe it. I mean, it kind of reminds me of the eco-village where we met, this idea of people living very closely with nature and developing skills that allowed them to not necessarily rely on large systems, but also being together while they were doing that and not just doing it as an individual or even as a family.
It's a reminder that everything is interdependent. The foragers and the bounty they're plucking out of the ground are both part of a bigger ecosystem. Hunting for food in the woods can only happen safely and effectively through community. And it comes in handy in good times and in bad.
And learning self-sufficiency and community is especially helpful in times of natural disaster.
In North Carolina, which was particularly hard hit, local and state officials are grappling with the extensive nature of destruction, particularly in the mountainous western part of the state, which is where NPR's Nathan Rogers...
Coming up, finding a way to live off the earth after a natural disaster has shut everything down. You know that one person that you struggle to come up with a gift for? For me, it's my grandma. She was a minimalist before that was even a thing. But even for someone like her who doesn't want more stuff, a Cove Pure water purifier is a great gift. It just sits on the counter and is easy to use. Just plug it in and fill it up with tap water. And it has size presets so she can drink exactly the amount of clean, great-tasting water she needs, and remember to get enough hydration throughout the day. Most importantly, Cove Pure is lab certified to remove up to 99.9% of contaminants from your water. That includes stuff like PFAS, pharmaceuticals, fluoride, lead, arsenic. It's the purest water you can get. So if you're looking for a gift that's good for your loved ones and one that they'll actually use, I highly recommend Cove Pure. And because I've partnered with them, they're giving you a special $250 holiday discount with my link covepure.com/broadside. That's covepure.com/broadside to get $250 off. covepure.com/broadside. Hurry before the sale ends.
I went with Yo-Yo Ma to the top of the highest peak in the Smoky Mountains.
The Cherokee people had always thought of that mountain as a spiritual location to open up a porthole into a wider universe.
I'm Ana Gonzalez, and I've been traveling with Yo-Yo Ma around the country and meeting people like Levita Hill, who's on a mission to change this mountain back to its Cherokee name.
Kwohi is the mulberry place.
Listen to Our Common Nature from WNYC wherever you get podcasts.
So, Emily, tell me, how does Hurricane Helene fit into this story?
I mean, if you visited Asheville in the past year, or if you're from Asheville or Western North Carolina in general, you probably know how much that hurricane affected that region, both materially and psychologically and emotionally.
Weeks after the remnants of Hurricane Helene moved through, people in the mountains of western North Carolina have been especially hard to reach.
Recovery has been slow since the remnants of Hurricane Helene tore through the area last weekend, causing damaging flooding.
The death toll is rising across the southeast. Tens of thousands of people remain without electricity or water or cell service, and in some places all three.
NPR's Jennifer Ludden is in nearby...
Juniper's mom, Jessica, was talking about how when the hurricane came, she felt like she was really lucky because she's a gardener, and so she had a lot of food to eat in her yard.
And so we actually were eating things out of our garden when we couldn't get any food from a grocery store after the hurricane, you know?
But not everybody had that. She talked about seeing grocery shelves that were completely bare after the hurricane, people eating government rationed food.
Like, we were all helping each other out, and we had cookouts in yards, like everybody was feeding everybody else. I mean, and that was just, I hear that over and over again, that was happening.
She also spoke about how in her neighborhood there were neighbors who'd been working on filtration systems for water, and they could help out their other neighbors who didn't have that when they didn't have clean water. So she was thinking watching neighbors help each other out was such a bright spot, seeing people come together in this communal self-sufficiency, and foraging could be part of that. You can make a chickweed salad for your neighbor instead of having them eat like slop from a can.
With, like those of us who have more knowledge could be helping feed people that need it. I mean, I hope we all get more foraging knowledge, right? But it felt a little bit to me when the hurricane happened like we were in a dress rehearsal for what could happen with the natural disasters.
Hurricane or not, we spend our lives afraid.
This is Alan Muscat, the founder of the foraging group No Taste Like Home.
Which means you don't trust anyone. Mushrooms are going to poison you. Nature is going to starve you or flood you. So in general, what we teach is how to feel at home.
Alan got the idea to specifically target children to teach them about foraging in the wake of the hurricane because he was thinking about how so many kids in the area were traumatized. Maybe they'd lost friends, maybe they'd lost homes. Gemma, one of the girls on the tour, lost her home in the hurricane. And he was thinking, this is not what I want kids to take away from nature. I don't want them to spend their lives afraid of nature because nature can be really empowering and nature can be really wonderful. He said, you think people are going to hurt you, mushrooms are going to poison you, nature is going to flood you or starve you. And he wanted to teach them the opposite.
The intention was that by gathering food from nature, kids who just went through a hurricane that might have killed their friends might learn to not fear and mistrust nature so much if they realize that nature feeds us more than it floods us.
We've gathered back at the campsite, and they have a gas stove with some olive oil and then all the food that we foraged out on the table, and they're making a little snack for us.
So once you had foraged all of these things from the woods, what did you do with your bounty?
So we met under a little awning tent structure where Dimitri had a camp stove and some folding tables. And he had found a steak of the woods mushroom, which he sliced up and sauteed it with some of the greens.
Make sure you have enough. We could add some sumac, which is kind of... What do you know about sumac?
And he put them on crackers, which he joked that he'd foraged from Trader Joe's. And we all got to try them. And, the greens, all the greens that I tried in the woods were really, really good. Tasted like, an appetizer at a reception. It was quite good.
Did you want some?
Sure, yeah, I'd love some. Thank you.
So, yeah.
So, as you look back on this whole journey, what did you come away with in terms of your reflections about foraging and the people you met?
It reminded me of when the world shut down in COVID in spring 2020. I felt the urge to go see what I could eat in my own yard. And I ended up finding some spring onions in just like a random park in Raleigh and bringing them home and planting them in a pot. And now that I think about it, I felt that urge to forage when it wasn't that easy to go to the grocery store, when there was this scarcity mindset. It made me think more deeply about how it's not that alarmist and it's not that like prepper and doomsday to say like things will happen that may disrupt our food systems. And it's not only good to have these skills, but it can be really empowering to have these skills.
So to me, making connections with all of these different plants and like feeling empowered, like I know what that is. Oh, wow, I can teach somebody else about it. Forges a connection with the plants and animals that we live in the midst of.
There's a sense of a scavenger hunt, going out in the woods, seeing what you can find, seeing what you can make. But it requires you to be more creative, maybe a little bit more trusting. And I think it also imparts important lessons to kids. It's really magical to see kids connect with it in that way, and not just in a play way, but in a you can actually eat this. This is actually a useful skill to have. And I think it's not just teaching kids because society might collapse, but it's also teaching kids because it's important to know how our food system works and where our food comes from. I think it makes you a more conscientious eater and citizen and person to know that, and it's better to teach them young.
Totally. Thanks so much, Emily. This was wonderful.
Thank you. It was a pleasure as always.
If you'd like to check out more of Emily Cataneo's reporting for The Guardian on foraging, we've dropped a link in our show notes. This episode of The Broadside was produced by Charlie Shelton Ormond and edited by Jared Walker. Our executive producer is Wilson Sayre. The Broadside is a production of WUNC North Carolina Public Radio and is part of the NPR network. If you have feedback or a story idea, you can email us at broadside@wunc.org. If you enjoyed the show, leave us a rating, a review, or share it with a friend. I'm Anissa Khalifa. Thanks for listening, y'all. We'll be back next week.
So if you're feeling frugal, stream Pluto TV, stream Pluto TV, stream Pluto TV for free.
Stream blockbuster hits like 21 Jump Street, Ted, The Expendables, and so much more on Pluto TV. Stream now, pay never.